start by saying, for those of you who came here to see Ralph Osterhout, I'm sorry. I'm not him. If you made a list of all the people in the world who are not Ralph Osterhout, I'd probably be at the top of the list. For those of you who know who Ralph is, I promise you I'll do my best to give you the dog shit facts of life. I'm excited today, not only because I have the honor of speaking for all the people who worked really hard at ODG that are going to make me look good on stage, but because we're going to move away from putting blindfolds on your face and trying to create a world that's not as good as ours. Because our world is pretty amazing. But when we're looking at our amazing world and we see the things that we don't quite understand, wouldn't it be nice to be able to know exactly what it is? Just to be able to enhance with information and not take away from what we're seeing out there in the real world, because it's pretty cool. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. Everybody seems to agree, and all of you are sitting here in the audience know, that augmented reality is going to be bigger than anything that's come before. And we've got analysts who are coming in and they're writing reports every day. Seemingly, we've got new ones and new ones and new ones and new ones and new ones, and they're coming in, and it's hard to keep track of all of these things, but it's their job. And we don't really have to know or understand everything that they're doing, because everybody in this room knows that the only thing we're talking about is what size is our rocket ship. We're on that ship, it's taken off, don't worry about why. Part of the reason that we know is because AR has been happening for a long time. We call it something different, we look at it, but it's accepted in our homes. And because we've been doing it so long, we know the things that work and that we accept and we see every day, and we also know the things that don't work. And that's an important learning process. We saw recently with, where are we? Okay. And it's important to know that process because content is what drives adoptions. If we look at this chart, we see that television was introduced in 1939, and the takeoff, the hockey stick, was 1959. That's when we figured out the sitcom. That's when we knew what we were going to put on our TVs. But now if you look at other technology that came more recently that already had content, you see that hockey stick happening earlier. Look at the internet and mobile phone and PC because we knew what to do. And we saw with Pokemon Go, now you can argue whether it's AR or not, but I got to tell you something. All of you who are looking for support of your applications, all of you who are looking for finance right now, 650 million downloads, $2 million a day. This is AR, guys, except this is AR. And when you're looking for money, this is AR and people love it. This was the first native game for a phone. This is the first thing that could only be played on a phone, and it really was an AR integration. And as far as I'm concerned, raising my son who's 21 right now, 8.7 billion kilometers walked, these guys should have won a Nobel Prize. The market says, the mainstream media says that Snapchat and Facebook are what are fueling AR growth. And it makes an awful lot of sense because when you look at Snapchat, they've got hundreds of millions of people a day that are using these filters. And now Facebook is opening up the market, and we're going to have more filters and lenses than we've ever had before because everybody's going to be able to create one, and you're not going to have to look like your friend's face. But they're a fart joke. And fart jokes are good, they have their purpose, but there's no nutritional value in it. And the CEO of Snapchat says that the reason that we're doing it is because people like it. They want to look like puppies. But we also know that we shouldn't listen to them when they tell us what it is that they're like. Because if we let people define the platform based on what they like, we go to a really bad place. And this is not what we want from AR. We want to do something better. We know exactly right now from things like that where the puck is. And we can be good, and we can build on that, and we can make money, or we can be great. I want to be great. I want all of you to use the tools that we have to be great. Here's something I saw a long time ago, 2009, and this is a big promise. This made me want AR right now. This is the ghost of Christmas past that hasn't necessarily been fulfilled when we look at Snapchat. But I think you'll be as excited as I was.
Of whether we could evolve or develop a sixth sense. I'm wearing a camera, just a simple webcam, a portable battery-powered projection system with a little mirror. These components communicate to my cell phone in my pocket, which acts as the communication and computation device. And we see how this system lets him walk up to any surface and start using his hands to interact with the information that is projected in front of him. The system also recognizes iconic gestures, such as the take a picture gesture, and then takes a picture of whatever is in front of you. And when he then walks back to the media lab, he can just go up to any wall and project all the pictures that he's taken, sort through them and organize them and resize them, etc., to any surface, including your hand if nothing else is available, and interact with this projected data. The device is completely portable and can be We see Pranav here going into the supermarket, and he's shopping for some paper towels. And as he picks up a product, the system can recognize the product that he's picking up using either image recognition or marker technology and give him the green light or an orange light. He can ask for additional information. So this particular if he picks up a book in the bookstore, he can get the Amazon rating, gets projected right on the cover of the book. This is Juan's book, our previous speaker, which gets a great rating, by the way, at Amazon. And so Pranav turns the page of the book and can then see additional information about the book, reader comments, maybe sort of information by his favorite critic, etc. If he turns to a particular page, he finds an annotation by maybe an expert of a friend of ours that gives him a little bit of additional information about whatever is on that particular page. Reading the newspaper, it never has to be outdated.
So this is voodoo shit. Imagine sitting in 2009 and seeing that and being excited and being able to have that and walk around and have all of this data where you needed it. And I started to think about how it's going to change the world. Everybody's going to be running for a wall, to be able to find a wall. And we have to re-engineer our cities to be able to look at walls, or maybe it wasn't the right place. So we started building applications, and we started putting them on mobile devices, on phones. And we've seen some great things. You see IKEA, you've got Google Translate. And for anybody who's ever been lost in Japan or China, this is amazing. You don't have to go to Lawson's anymore and have them pull out that big book to tell you where you are. Putting them in owner's manuals for cars. There are auto companies that are already doing this. And you can even pick and see if your tattoo is going to look right once you do that, which is getting to be a more and more important thing. But doing all of this, nobody really cares. I'm not going to ask this audience, but usually when I give this talk, or a talk like it, I'll ask how many people have an AR application. No hands go up. How many people have Yelp on their phone? Every hand goes up. How many of you know that Yelp has had AR built in since 2009? And really cool AR. I mean, do you want to be able to hold up and look at the maps pointing to the places and you can just walk? That's really cool. But it's in the wrong place. Because the phone is the wrong place for everything. It hurts your head. There are studies that show that it's wrong. And if you don't care about anything else, you can look at the 70% of our children have been bumped into by people distracted with phones. If you want to save our children and the youth, stop using phones. Cities are waking up and re-engineering themselves because phones are getting in the way. This is my son's engineering school. They had to build a bridge over the road so that the little engineers weren't picked off like lemmings as they were looking at their phones, walking across the street. Free yourself. Get away from the phone. Make your hands free. Look at the world. It's a great place. And when we put AR in the right place, magical things happen.
Feel I'm telling you, this is how it works, man. There's a little camera right here.
This is how it works. So there's solutions out there, and there are a bunch of companies that are looking different ways to free yourself. And there are good ways of doing it. We decided at ODG that glasses are the best way to do it. And this is a great example. We pulled this off the web the other day, because here's a guy that's using glasses for the very first time to go through a complex task. And you see that when his hands are free, he started out with glasses being slower, but now you see him shooting by like he's turbocharged. Because he's able to see what's going on with the glasses. He doesn't have to reference the manual anymore, and he can just look at it and be useful right away. And that's just one of the use cases for the glasses. When we talk to people who know things and people who are talking about it, say the glasses are about 5 to 10 years out. And the reason that they say that is because glasses are really hard. I don't know what this says, but when I type hard into Google, I got this. And it says AR in there. And we know better than anybody else at ODG that glasses are hard because we've been putting computers on your face since 1983. Ralph Osterhout's dream from the very beginning was to be able to give you ubiquitous access to data when and where you need it. Have your data. And we've been doing it for that long. The glasses that we're going to talk about today are the 8th and 9th generation of glasses that have come out of ODG. We have our R7s, that some of you may be familiar with, and they're already being used in a lot of markets. For all the people who are 5 and 10-year glasses away people, they've been out since December of last year. And they're powerful computers. They've got 720p native display. They're 80% see-through. So that means that doctors are using them in operating rooms actively. Now, brain surgery, heart surgery, orthopedic surgery. We've got people using them for telepresence. We've got people using them for all different aspects and all different uses in the field. Glasses cost $27.50, and we're happy to say that now we got rid of the backlog. If you order them today, you can have them in 2 weeks. You don't sound so excited that you can have this in 1/3 the time it will take you. 1/3 of the time it will take you to receive your earphones if you order them from Apple. So let me try that again. 2 weeks! Thank you. It's good to see you're awake. Half of the people that were ordering the glasses wanted to be able to use them on factory floors, machine floors, oil rigs, dangerous places, bad places, places where they're wearing safety glasses. And so that's what we did. We announced last week that we're coming out all of the different standards that you need to be able to do this all around the world, certified as safety glasses. And you don't have to believe me. Here's a piece that CNET just did on them.
It takes a lot to make sure a gadget can withstand this kind of torture. These $3,500 smart glasses are designed for use on oil rigs, in manufacturing, or by government agencies. Running a modified version of Android, they have similar specs to a regular phone. The wearer can get hands-free instructions on the displays or see real-time notifications.
We're here at the ODG test labs to put these glasses through their paces. So we have a salt fog test, a drop test, a projectile test, and a couple more. Let's go and see how they hold up.
First up, the drop test. From a height of 4 feet, the glasses fall onto 2 inches of plywood on the concrete floor.
3, 2, 1.
The glasses can withstand 8 drops in a row falling on different sides. For factory workers, glasses that pass high impact tests are a must. We drop a 500-gram weight shaped like a bullet down a 4-foot tube. They're designed to take 2 hits on both lenses. For extreme temperatures, this freezer keeps the glasses ice cold at -20 degrees Celsius. They can also withstand heat up to positive 50 degrees Celsius.
So the glasses have been in the freeze for an hour. Let's take them out and see if they still work. Yep, starting up. They're working.
For hot, humid environments, we start with a fog test, putting the glasses in a tank for an hour with warm, salty spray.
smells salty. Okay. Here we go. It's wet and salty and smelly, but they work.
And for the splash test, this sheet of paper is covered with indicator liquid that turns pink when it comes in contact with the spray. If the spray doesn't intrude on the eye area, it passes the test. The labs use a slingshot to test high-velocity impact. These quarter-inch steel balls hit the glasses at around 200 feet per second. After each torture test, I verified the glasses still worked by doing a quick demo, running a simulation to see inside this box using augmented reality. But after putting them through this much stress, it's safe to say the R7 are not your average pair of glasses.
So for those of you who use some other members of the team are in here, so they appreciate your applause. I can't take credit for that. Those of you who use some of the other devices know that that's kind of a big deal. So now, at CES, we introduced the R8. This, along with the R9, were the first hardware devices to use the Snapdragon 835, and the first that was actually running on it. And these will be coming out at the end of the year. I have a pair right here. I wasn't just going to the beach. And these things are amazing. Are those beautiful? I put these down on my kitchen table. I wanted to redesign my house. They just made me feel bad about how it looked. And I should tie a piece of string to make sure they don't float away. 4.3 ounces. Really light. In designing them, mobile. Everywhere you need them, whenever you want them. Indoors, outdoors. They always work. They'll always give you access to data. 4.3 ounces, like I said, 40-degree field of view, 16:9 aspect ratio, 1080p cameras. Dual stereo cameras. It films the world the way you film the world in your face. So it films the world in 3D, and it can go to the other glasses in 3 other devices, 802.11, Bluetooth 5.0. They charge while they're in use. So you can wear them, you can have a battery pack, you can charge them just like the Mophie on your phone. Really important. We've got the batteries in here that will work just like your cell phone. All they use varies with applications, but if you want more power, you can do that while you're using them. And most important, Android. It's the operating system with the world's largest installed base, which means when you're making Android applications, they're going to run on the glasses. The knowledge that you have from developing applications comes right over. Under $1,000. The R9s, this is more of our prosumer version. They're a little bit bigger, but they have the benefit of the bigger field of view, and they also have an expansion port on the front. Again, mobile. They're bigger, but they're not something that you can't walk around with. They're not something that mounts around your head. They're something that you put on like a pair of glasses. 22:9 and 16:9, 13 megapixel camera in the front, all the other features of the 8s, plus the expansion port. Run on Android with the expansion port. You can make different modules that you can put on it. If you want to do things, different types of cameras, lighthouse, things like that, there are modules on the front that you can plug right on. 1850. And just yesterday, we announced they're certified by THX. And what that means is that all of the directors, and this was started, we heard the story yesterday from Chris White, our head of business, that George Lucas went into a theater, was unhappy with how his movie was projected, and he worked on the THX certifications to make sure that movies were seen the way that directors wanted them to see them. Because we have a pixel-free, no screen door effect display, we have a THX certification that says that this is the way that directors want you to see it. Let's talk a little bit about use cases. In telepresence, this is one of our active use cases out there. I'm going to speed up a little bit because I'm running out of time. But this is telepresence, where we've got an expert talking to somebody actually using a machine in the field. That's what our enterprise users are using it for. That's the #1 application. So he's able to help him work on the machine. He could help multiple people working on the machine. Situational awareness. These soldiers have a wireless mesh network around them. They're getting data from the drone. They're feeding data in. Facial recognition when they encounter people, all kinds of other things that they have to have. That's really important if you're walking around Afghanistan or an amusement park, because these guys have to know who's a shin kicker and who's having a birthday so they can talk to them the right way. Not that we're selling anything to them. TSA, if we put these on the agents are able to do facial detection, gait detection, all these other things that you guys are hearing about goes right in the glasses and in an innocuous way. Nobody knows where they're looking, and for the most part, these look like sunglasses as they're talking about it. Medical, As I said, neurosurgery, heart surgery. The doctors are able to not only look at the vitals right while they're looking at somebody, but they can also map the operating paths, and they can look at what they're doing so that they know when they're putting things in the right place, when they're touching the right things and bad things. This is a huge one for me, data visualization. How much more do you see when you go to a 3D model on your screen than a flat screen? How much more are you going to see when you're able to put the glasses on with full awareness of what's out around you, full awareness of everybody in the room with you, and able to walk amongst your complex data set? I think that's huge. I think it's going to change things as much as the spreadsheet did. Consumers have different needs. If you're standing in the middle of New York, wouldn't it be wonderful to have your glasses and have the building light up that has the bathroom where you can pee? So we're thinking about the different use cases, but in this market, we're not even a zygote yet in terms of what we're developing. And we have to think about where we're going. Some of this stuff that we're thinking about are advertising. Yesterday, there was an announcement made that QQ did a advertising AR promotion using phones in their service for Fast and Furious. They more than doubled the want-to-see rate by using it. And what we're doing is we're changing advertising from a 100-year-old model of I'm going to buy inventory in a show that I think maybe the people who might want the thing that I want are going to see it, and they're going to remember what they saw, and they're going to remember me, to giving people the information that they need at the nexus of demographic and time and location. So now all of a sudden, advertising goes from being interruptive to being helpful. If you're walking in the grocery store, wouldn't you appreciate knowing the things that are on sale? If you're walking by the movie theater, wouldn't you want to know if the movie is starting that you want to see? Commuting, really easy. How many times are you sitting on an airplane, looking at the guy in the seat next to you, and he's working on a confidential document that says confidential across the top of it? I see it all the time. And if you're like me, that says, look at me. I can't stop. When they go and they flip through, can you stop a sec? I didn't get to catch that one. Now, all of a sudden, we're working in privacy. And we just announced last week a deal with Citrix that brings your whole desktop, anything you want, to you. So all of your data. That's okay, you can applaud. I didn't do this. So this is somebody walking around the office actually using the Citrix application. So now Windows 10 applications, any application, Salesforce, any application that you're using, all of the Citrix applications that plug in come directly to the glasses for that commute. And we're looking at that guy and we're sharing that one screen, but it doesn't have to be that screen. You can be looking at this. And if you go to the booth tomorrow, you're going to be able to see the demo where we're showing you multiple screens. So you can have the screen, and when you're sitting on that airplane, you can have your Netflix going, you can have your Skype over here, you can have your work in the middle and do whatever you want to do, and be able to have a bigger environment that you have at home. Anybody who's been to a NASCAR race, which this is the valley, they probably aren't, it's not a big crossover. But anybody who's been to a NASCAR race or a football game, or when you go to the Warriors game, a lot of you do that. I'm from up south, I don't know. When you go to the Warriors game, the worst place to watch a live sporting event is at the event, because you don't have all of this stuff at home. So you think about being at an event, you can have the glasses, you still see everything that's going on around you, you still see the live event, plus you have all the stuff you would see at home. And when you're at home, how about having this experience that we may have seen before, but with a field of view that justifies it? Being able to look at that table and see everything that's going on and get excited about it and see it from different angles. When we're talking about games, let's do games that use the unique sales proposition of the glasses. This is one that Preston Platt in our office whipped up, and it's something that we're running. And you can see, you can walk around this table and have a whole environment. And it completely changes the nature of a flight sim. So when? I told you about the other ones. When? That's what you care about. R8s, SDKs, development versions in the fall. So you can sign up at the ODG website today. You can get your name on the line as a developer, and they'll be ready in the fall. And we'll give you more information, and we're going to be ready for you to build things. And I'm going to close with a story. There's a famous litigator named Jerry Spence, and he tells a story about a little boy, and he uses it in his closing arguments. And the little boy walks up to an old farmer, and he says, "I have a bird in my hands." He says, "Is the bird alive or is it dead?" And the farmer looks at him and says, "I don't know, son." He says, "Is it alive or dead?" And he says, "I really don't know, son, because the bird is in your hands. And for all of you, the bird is in your hands. We built the glasses. We built this platform. We're ready for content. You can do anything with these glasses, and we've never had a brighter future in terms of a new technology that can become pervasive, looking at a smartphone before the smartphone started to take off. So the future is yours. We're inviting you to come into the platform and build things for it and amaze yourself. Thank you very much.